Jeremy Stevens, and this is my studio, Clearwave Studio in Decatur, Alabama. I'm a recording engineer, music producer, mixer. I started this studio in 2001 as kind of a home base for my own production projects. And since then, we've had the Alabama Shakes in here, Jason Isbell, Microwave Dave and the Nukes, Cancer Slug, Drop Diver, Them Damn Dogs, James Irvin, Dave Anderson, Lamont Landers, and hundreds of other bands, and I'm proud of every one of them. This is the main room of the studio. It's the biggest room in the studio. I do a lot of tracking of live bands. During the session, most of the musicians will be in this room doing that. Everybody will have their own little station, and quite often, you know, like we'll put the bass over here. This is one of the studio bass amps. This is an Ampeg V4B. We'll either use this or whatever the bass player brings in.
It's too hot.
Decatur's a weird place to have a studio like this. Alabama is famous for being politically embarrassing, but I see this underground of great musicians who have a lot to say. They're not afraid to say it. They love the freedom that they have here. And we pull from a fairly wide area. You know, I get musicians escaping the horrors of the Nashville scene down here. Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, even Atlanta, Memphis. So we pull from a pretty wide area. This is a 1955 Hammond B3 organ. It's in great shape. It sounds wonderful. Of course, we have the 122 Leslie cabinet to go with it. Hold on. Tennis ball over there. Okay, next to that is the Wurlitzer electric piano. This is a 200A electric piano, very familiar sounding piano from the 70s. I mean, I can just watch people come to this and just start playing something, and you can just see the wheels working in their heads, and they can just start coming up with new things, you know. Well, this is a private studio. I mostly record friends or friends of friends. Sometimes I'll be a band that I think that would be a great fit for what we're trying to do here, so I'll reach out. But it's mostly word of mouth, so I don't advertise in the yellow pages or anything like that. So we keep these extra microphones in here. You know, we have a lot of 57s, 58s, Sennheiser, AKG 451s, that's a SM7. And of course, my favorite guitar amp mic in the world. This is a Heil PR30. I use these all the time. Get you one. SM81s, it's a Audio Technica 4051. You know, just a few things like that.
Vintage tape machine?
This is a MCI JH24 24 track tape machine. Of course, this is the leopard skin version, so it's kind of like the regular version, only better. It's been completely recapped, rechipped, restored. The heads are in great shape, and you know, it's really quite the wonderful sounding tape machine. Well, I'll try to keep it a fun studio. There's a lot of you know, Christmas lights and baby doll heads and skulls and weird shit hanging around. But it's really to disguise the fact that this is a very hard-working environment. A lot of times bands will spend 7-10 days here to do everything. So I try to keep it comfortable and somewhat lighthearted. Okay, this is the vocal booth. This has been recently redone. I'm very pleased with the way this sounds in here. It makes microphones sound better just being in this room, I think. You know, we do vocals in here, we do acoustic guitars, anything that needs to be separated. And also we do loud things in here like electric guitars, obviously. This is a 1951 Fender Pro. I got this from Kenneth Bryan. Kenneth Bryan is a fantastic guitar player, plays in the Kenneth Bryan band. So this is the James Irvin Signature Series PV Bandit, reissue. It's broken, but in a very cool way. And for some reason it shoots glitter out the bottom when you play it. It sounds, totally messed up, just like James. This mic is a Flea 47. It's their version of a U47. It's a handmade tube mic. It's quite wonderful sounding. It's probably the best mic in the studio, really. And if you're singing and you need some extra inspiration, we have Lil Richard looking over your shoulder. I don't think I have a production style. I think a band should sound like themselves when they make a recording. It's not my job to change anybody. It's my job to maybe find out what it is that you do that makes you special and maybe bring that out. And I can help you sound a little more creative or colorful. But there is a tendency when you get in the studio to maybe copy what other people have done. But I like for things to be new and fresh. And, I'd rather someone try to copy what we're doing. This is our drum booth. It's a fairly bright sounding drum room. We have a pretty tall ceilings. That's about 15 feet up there. And we have a few microphones scattered about for that big roomy drum sound. This is the studio kit. It's probably been on hundreds of albums. It's kind of a hodgepodge of things. Some Yamaha, Pearl, Ludwig, a few other snare drums by Gretsch and Tama. This stays set up and it's always dialed in, but you can certainly use your drum set if you want. Of course, like any bathroom in the studio, we have extra drum storage and power amps and tapes and stuff. So you've seen enough of that. This is a storage room here. Headphones, extra cables, tape storage, junk storage, and this is wired for sound, and sometimes we'll put guitar amps or maybe the Leslie cabinet in here or something. It's a sex dungeon for Garrison.
Well, that's cool.
It was just a little too I can
It's whatever you need to do.
yeah, I mean whatever sounds best in there too. This is pretty comfortable right here.
Once you play a little bit,
Cool.
I'll go over there and make sure all the mics work.
I like it when things sound good. I like good tone. I like it when a mix sounds like it's gonna pop through the speakers, or a recording just sounds better than everything else. And I certainly shoot for those things, but music is so much more than that. I'm very much into the human performance side of things, the emotion that music can carry. To me, that's what makes music good. Most of the people I record play live a lot, so what I do is I try to set up the studio to do as much live as possible. And we'll record a song 2, 3, 5 times, however many times it takes. And we'll use the special take, the best take, you know, and you know it when you got it. We'll work off of that, probably add a bunch of shit to it. And, you know, I'll mix it. Everything will sound good and we'll just set it free, you know. But I'm not the type of engineer who's going to, you know, sit behind a screen and just move shit around all day till everything's perfect. I've done that before. I know what it's like. It's boring, seems to suck a lot of that human emotion out of a song or a recording. And, you know, that's okay if you're doing a Disney Channel thing or a douche commercial or something, but that's not what we're trying to do here. You know, we're trying to make hit records and win Grammys here.
This is the control room here. It's based around the dog and the this console. This is an Atari console. You know, I think Atari is mostly known for their tape machines, and I don't think they made very many consoles, but this is a late 90s console, 32 channels. It's an inline console, so you have the big faders and the little faders, and it has analog automation, total recall, of course the built-in patch bay, and sonically it's very clear, you know, very transparent, has lots of headroom, which I like. You know, it's a very punchy sounding console. Let's say we're doing tracking sessions, I feel like I can work much faster on a real console, just, you know, patching things around and routing things. So, you know, for me, it's a really good workflow. Okay, I'm going to show you my rack. You know, this is a studio amp here. It's a little Friedman. It's kind of a Marshall wannabe. It's 20 watts. You get that sound of a Marshall without, you know, blowing out the walls of the studio. I like to do guitars here in the control room sometimes because you can hear what it sounds like on the record as you play along with it. This is a stereo bus compressor. This API 2500. To me, these are very versatile. You know, I like this new and old switch. It really changes the character of the compressor a lot. And but also you can use this on individual tracks. Underneath that is the API 5500 EQ. I like this because, first of all, it's 2 channels of my favorite EQ in the world, the 550B API EQs. So you can use it on individual tracks, like, you know, it sounds really good on guitars and like snare drums. But if you dial back this range knob a little bit, it makes it a little bit less harsh, a little smoother, and it works very well as a like a mastering EQ. This is the Universal Audio Apollo X16X system. It's 24 inputs. 24 outputs. You can use their plugins on the inputs if you want to record with the processing, which is kind of cool. It's neat to have that option. And this unit has built-in mic pre's as well. There's 8 extra mic pre's, which is very useful. That look good. Wait a minute. There we go. How's that? And this rack is mostly mic, I guess all mic pre's. I'm a big fan of the API 3112 mic pre's. I have 12 channels of that, but they're very clean, very punchy sounding mic pre's. And actually these are hardwired to the console, so if you plug into a like channel 1 through 12 on the console, it automatically you know, it goes directly to these mic pre's here, and then you can route it like you normally would on a console. The Langemann AM4 channel strips. I have 2 channel strips. You know, it has big transformers, military grade components,
and has this shelving EQ, which I find is very useful at low end and a high end with a few selectable frequencies. Okay, in the rack here, this rack is it's my favorite compressor in the world. It's a Retro Instruments stay level. You know, it's kind of dummy proof. Everything you run through it sounds better. The compression is just glorious sounding. And then just a various array of digital processors, multi-effect processors.
Like, don't acknowledge it.
Okay, this doesn't.
Pretend like it's not even there.
Yeah.
What kind of software are you running in the studio?
That's the dumbest question I ever heard in my life. I use Apple Logic as my main DAW because I like it and I'm very quick on it, and I probably know it the best. So, you know, I think whichever DAW you know the best is the one you should use. But also I have Pro Tools, Cubase, and Luna, the new one. I'll use whichever DAW the gig requires, but if it's my choice, I'll use Logic. Third-party plugins, I use a lot of Universal Audio plugins. I've been with Universal Audio since 2003, so I have a bunch of their plugins, plus they work real well with that interface, the Apollo interface over there. I use the Plugin Alliance plugins. I have a subscription, so if you get that, you get like probably 100 plugins, and you know, a lot of them are really good. The FabFilter plugins, the EQ is pretty amazing. It does like really insane things. Like if you really screwed up and recorded something very badly, this might be able to fix it, kind of like duct tape. You know, that's some of the favorite things I use. The end.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.